Hey there, fellow empath. In this video, you learn about the 7 strategies and behavioral patterns that narcissists use on you and don't want you to know. And so the intention for me sharing these strategies with you is so that you can understand better the narcissist you attract in your life, so that you can eventually forgive yourself for playing their game and then set up healthy boundaries in place so that you don't attract them no more. So if you've been stuck in this pattern of consistently repeating the cycle of attracting narcissistic abusive behavior in your relationship, you'll find this video really valuable. That being the case, let's directly begin. Actually, I've written them down so that I can remember them more easily. So I'll just read them out loud and then we can contemplate on them so that you can maybe recognize them in some of your relationships. First of all, narcissists generally in their core, like since they're our ego, the ego's core is narcissistic, and narcissists, they only care of themselves. That's why they're very needy. And this is actually something that they wouldn't want you to know. They are hiding this very well. They are very needy. And in fact, they are so needy that they need you more than you need them. But they hide it very well. They don't want you to know that. And that's why they're like, they always try to hide the fact that you're valuable in their life, and they don't want to share that transparently and honestly because they're afraid that they might use you, that they might lose you. Eventually, if they lose you, they replace you by somebody else, but they don't want to go through the hassle of doing that. And that's why they're really needy, but they hide that. And so instead of doing like every other human does, like being transparent and honest and genuine with their feelings, they tend to hide that inner neediness, because they're afraid that if you knew it, then they would appear to be weak, and they don't want to be weak, right? They always want to appear being so strong. So this is one strategy that they use on you, this one behavior that they have that they don't want you to know. The second one is that they choose you because somehow in their mind you increase their social status, and that's how they benefit from you. It's like they see you as a tool, and somehow by talking to their friends about you and about the relationship you have together, you increase their status. So it's like they don't choose you because they love you inwardly from their heart. They choose you because they have come up with the reasons in their mind that you'll be valuable in their life, because they can exert some form of benefit from you. And most of the time this is for social status. Like they just want to have that status of being the core one for being in a relationship with you, and they want to appear being more cool inside of their social circles with their friends by being in a relationship with you. And it's actually really funny because previously, like a couple of years back in my life, when I've been stuck in this pattern of attracting narcissistic friends, it was like I had this one friend who had this more narcissistic tendencies, who was always taking like who was always using me emotionally to, in a way, always be the coolest one in all the social circles we were together. So he was always being and trying to showcase and highlight all the ways he was better than me, so that he could get that social proof from others, that validation, and he could increase that status. And this was repeating over and over again until I eventually started setting my boundaries, and then eventually, by learning that lesson from him, he moved away from my life. So this is the second strategy that they don't want you to know. But there is more. We don't stop here. The third one is that they get satisfaction from seeing you react. They love being able to control your emotions and gain energy from that. So it's actually, most narcissists, they trigger you on purpose. They don't trigger you just unconsciously like many of us do, and then we try to in a way heal that part of us that triggers you, because because we care for you in the relationship with you, like as generally most people do. No, narcissists, they know that if they trigger you, if they get an emotional reaction from you, they'll get that energy back. They'll, in a way, use that energy so that they can fill themselves up. And that's why when they understand that something triggers you, they'll repeat it over and over and over and over again consciously, because they know that they gain energy from you this way. And that's why they want to be able to control your emotions, because from your negative reactions, they're gaining positive energy. And the more of your negative reactions they can trigger, the more energy they can have for themselves. And this is something that generally they don't want you to know, because if you knew that, obviously you wouldn't want to keep perpetuating this pattern, right? But now maybe if you are more aware of it, then you can be, again, it will be easier for you to set up boundaries. And just something important I want to share, even though we are just at the middle of all the strategies. Like, I'm not sharing all this information so that you can put yourself in a victim position. No, that's not my intention. I'm sharing it so that you have greater awareness and you see the importance of setting boundaries. Because only boundaries will help you push narcissists away so that you can experience healthier and more uplifting and supportive relationships. But do not blame the narcissists. Most of them are also unconscious. And so the more you understand them, the easier it will be to forgive yourself that you have been in relationships with them and then set up some boundaries in place. Make sense? Okay, hope it makes sense so we can continue. The fourth one is that they hate and resent needing you. It's like, since for narcissists, you are their supply, you are their emotional supply. Like, they need you, they need your validation, and they also need you for you to take care of them, because you're always the one who tries to save others. If you're an empath, this is like the pattern that most probably you have been stuck around. And they resent needing you, they hate you for that, but they cannot let you go, because it's like they're secretly jealous of of the goodwill you have towards others, and they want to be like you, but they know they can't, and they need you, and they don't want to need you, and that's why they hate you. And so this is why they create these trauma bonds between you, between the empath and the narcissist. There is always a trauma bond, and so they always hurt you, but just enough so that you can so that they can later promise that they'll do the changes within themselves to not hurt you anymore, and then not do the changes and eventually apologize, not meaning honestly their apology. And so it's like this cycle of perpetual hurting. Like, they hurt you, they hate you for needing you because they don't want to need you, but at the same time they need you for that emotional support that they're getting from you. And they don't want you to know that, because if they did, obviously you wouldn't want to be stuck in the pattern, and you would eventually put boundaries, and like then they wouldn't be able to supply their energy from you. So yeah, this is another strategy. The next one is that this is probably obvious, but they don't have your back. They don't care for you genuinely. And in fact, it's quite strange, because if you see a narcissist who isn't, like, most of them aren't really conscious. Like, most of these behaviors and those strategies are unconscious, actually. And so I'm saying that not to protect narcissists. I'm saying that so that you understand that they have also been hurt from their childhood upbringing, and so that you can have a little bit of compassion for them when you're setting boundaries with such people. So yeah, the fifth one is that they don't have your back. It's funny because they actually gossip about how crazy and unstable you are to maintain the position that they're always being right, because it's like they always want to be right. They always want to prove that they're right. They never want to apologize. They're always the right one, and you're always being wrong. And so they do that even before the relationship gets bad or before it's like over. So they try to gossip to their friends that you're like really crazy, really unstable person, because this way they get the protection that eventually, if they leave you, if you leave them, or if they leave you, they'll be the one who will be winning. They will be the right ones, and they're really attached to this idea of righteousness, of being right. And this is another strategy that they use on you to manipulate you. The next one is that it's like they will continue disappointing you. And I mean this in a way because you've probably heard the promises that they will eventually change, right? They will stop hurting you, they will start treating you better, they will change their behavior towards you. You have heard all those promises, but they never work. And so they're aware that they won't change. Most of the times they're aware that they won't change, and they know that they will continue disappointing you, knowing how hurtful this is for you. And because for them you're just a tool at their disposal. They just use you to gain emotional support, to gain emotional validation, to gain status, and you're just a tool. So it's like they always disappoint you. They don't care about that. They don't really care for you ultimately. And this is something to keep in mind, because when you say that clearly to a narcissist, they'll feel triggered instantly. They'll start rejecting that. And when they start rejecting that, then you know you have triggered the chord inside of them, and in a way you're speaking your truth. So you can test that out if you're curious. By the way, you can just say something to them that, well, look, you never change. You always promise to change, but you never do. You disappoint me. You keep doing that, and this is hurting me. And I just want you to know that. And they will say something like, why stop over how was this word? Stop being overly dramatical and dramatizing here. I'm not doing that, obviously. But they'll feel triggered. They will say it with this tonality that it's almost they're trying to hide something. And you know that. You will see that clearly if you try that. And the last one is that most of the time, narcissists know that they're hurting you. It's just that they don't care. It's not important for them. It doesn't matter. It's like they know that it's not, they say to themselves that it's not their responsibility that they're hurting you. And it doesn't matter. And even if they don't know, which happens sometimes they're doing it unconsciously. They're unconsciously hurting you. Sometimes this happens. But later, even if they find out that they have been hurting you, they still wouldn't care. Like, they will still hurt you. They will continue doing that because it just doesn't matter. For them, you're just a tool in their disposal. And they will never want to admit that. But again, you can say to them clearly, if you can choose one of those strategies, those behavioral patterns I have shared, and you could try to communicate it with them clearly, and you'll be able to see their reaction. And by their reaction, you'll be able to understand that this is the case. And then from there, it's like it becomes nonsensical to continue your relationship with them. Because eventually you understand that the only way to stop that, to stop attracting narcissists and emotionally unavailable people who don't care for you, is to set boundaries, my friend. But there are a couple of belief systems that you might still hold as an empath that might be holding you back from setting boundaries. And that's why I want you to check out this video in which I share the ugly truth of why you're attracting narcissists. It's a video I uploaded a couple of days back, but inside of it, I share the main belief system that part of you still harbors, and your unconscious mind still harbors, and it's the reason why you're attracting narcissists. So the moment you analyze that belief system, you investigate it deeply, and you start letting it go, is the moment in which you stop this cycle of this abusive cycle and stop attracting narcissists. So you can definitely check out this video. And again, my friend, all these strategies I have shared with you, they're not with the intention for you to victimize yourself further and to blame narcissists. No, it's not. If you blame them, then you keep being stuck in this cycle of consistently attracting them. No, what I'm sharing for you is why I'm sharing this with you is so that you have greater awareness, so that you can understand narcissists better. And with this understanding, you can decide to start caring for yourself. You can choose yourself, and you can connect with your boundaries and needs, which will push them away from your life so that you don't experience any more toxic relationships, any more abusive relationships. That being the case, my friend, this has been everything I wanted to share. So if you have related with this video, if you've recognized some of the strategies that I have been sharing with you in your relationships, Please comment down below. Let me know which ones have you seen, which ones you're aware of, and which ones are maybe new for you, you've just discovered. And if you want to share your story about what are you experiencing in your relationships, please do in the comments below. Or if you're tired, if you're just tired of these abusive relationship patterns and you just want to let them go fully, definitely check out one of the trainings I have in the description. It's called the 3 phases you go through until you surround yourself by only conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships. It's basically the 3 phases of inner work that every empath goes through until they attract only healthy, mutually beneficial, supportive relationships. So if you're tired of attracting abusive relationships and you want to, at the end, like, put yourself first, choose yourself first, and surround yourself by conscious and uplifting people in your life who support and lift you up, then check out a training. It's like a 2-hour on-demand practical training in which you understand the 3 phases you go through. And I trust that you'll find it really helpful if you're tired of perpetuating this pattern. That being the case, my friend, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you found it useful. I trust that you found it useful, actually. If you're new to the channel, to the Soulful Relationships channel, subscribe to it. I would love to see you around, because inside this channel, all the content that they create is with the purpose for you to experience the most conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships. So if you share this vision with me, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to see you around. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, my friend. See you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.